2.8 kilometer portage. The headwind is like brutal. Big deadfall. It's steep. Really certain it was a bear. So excited. Maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I'd love to be starting this video from the lake, but my access road is closed. So I'm going to be starting out with a 2.6 kilometer portage, no, 2.8 kilometer portage from the access road park office down to the lake. Not exactly how I planned on starting this, but here we go. Okay, I just dropped my stuff off at the park office here, making my way back to the closed gate and trying to psych myself up for this portage. I was not mentally prepared for this, so we will see how it goes. It's better to do this than screw up my whole route. I don't think I explained it properly, but it is April the 6th today, and on Monday it is the day of the solar eclipse. So, of course, everything's booked here because I'm at Frontenac, and that is in the path of totality. So I'm really excited. What a way to do my first solo trip. But given that that's all going on, everything's booked, so I can't rejig my route. I kind of looked at it to see if I could access somewhere else, but it would make my first day weird, and then my last day I would have to probably paddle way too far to get out. So I think this is the path of least resistance, and I'm just getting a little bit more than I bargained for. The water's going to be that much nicer when I get there. Road. I am going up a hill, but it's easy to walk on. I should also mention I did call the park office to see if there's anybody there to open it for me, and there's nobody there because it's the weekend. Break number 2. I think I'm about 2/3. 1.4K left to the lake. Oh, the wind's blowing me. Yay! Last checkpoint before the lake. Parking lot where I was supposed to park right before the boat launch. I was going to stop here, but I might just power through. I can see the water. Oh my god. Whew. That was long. I'm ready to put this boat in the water. Although the wind's got me a little bit nervous. It's looking like it's funneling right down the lake. Oh god. Well, I wanted an adventure. Here we are. Alright. Let's see how long that took us. 57 minutes. That's not too bad. Okay, getting suited up. Opting to wear a dry suit on this trip because the ice has just come off the water. It's about as cold as it can be without being solid, and the air temperature, at least today, is not that warm. It's it's like 6 degrees or something. So the safest thing, especially because I already own one, is for me to wear this. But this is the worst part of any dry suit experience. Getting it over your head. Oh my god. And it's even worse with long hair. Oh, I've got it zipped. Oh. Holy crap.
Now seems as good a time as any to talk about how nervous I was going into this trip. I've heard people talk about day one jitters. I usually experience this too. I'd also describe it as brain fog, making silly mistakes and doubting my own abilities. I think being alone amplified this for me. I had a small list of fears going into this trip. Not being able to paddle against the wind, having men aware that I was alone, being afraid at night, and bear encounters.
I normally use a double blade, but I don't think I stand a chance in the wind solo in a 16-foot single blade. So, double blade it is. Takes some getting used to for sure. I think I said it before, but this is my first solo trip, so taking it a bit easier. By a bit, I mean a lot. The entire loop, which I'll go over in a little bit, is actually only around 30 kilometers, which is about what we would do, or less than what we would do in a day on the meanest link. But I know everything's going to take me twice as long. It's just me doing it, so I wanted to make sure I gave myself lots of time and I'm actually able to enjoy it. I'm taking a breather. It's not white capping or anything, like it's not dangerous, but the headwind is like brutal. It keeps blowing me backwards. And I moved the bag a little bit further forward to help counter my weight. It's about 55 pounds, so it's not even half my body weight. So the front of the canoe, it just keeps pendulating side to side with the wind. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And I think we are most of the way down the lake. Actually, I might use this break to explain my route. Okay, so this is Frontenac Park. I started from the bottom of Big Salmon right there, but of course I had to start with that. What ended up being like 3 kilometers of portaging at the beginning because the road was closed. So I'm paddling all along here. I'm somewhere around here right now, I think. The rest of my day today, I'm going to this portage 491 into La Belle Lake, and then up into this 190, and then over here on Big Clear Lake to the campsite 13 grouping. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna go into Devil's Lake and all the way around, hopefully it's not windy, to the 761 into Kingsford. And then you can't see it right now, but this kind of goes around a peninsula there and into McNally Bay. And I'm going to be staying at the furthest to the right here of the 11 grouping of campsites. And then day 3, I'm going to go back out and around through Birch. This is kind of extends down that way. And then over this big portage here. I think this is the hardest portage in the park. We did it last year. It's pretty brutal. A huge hill at the beginning, huge hill at the end, and a nice lookout into Little Salmon Lake. And that'll be Monday. So hopefully I'll be able to view the eclipse from the lookout point here. It's south facing, so hopefully be able to get a cool time lapse of that. And then as far as I know right now, I'm the only one camping on that lake that night. I got the furthest to the left here, campsite A in that grouping. And then my last day, I was gonna go this portage into Little Clear and then out here to get a longer paddle out. But given that I know I probably have 3+ kilometers portaging here, I think I'm gonna opt to cut this in half, do the 1K portage here, little tiny paddle, and then portage out. And that's my 4-day plan. Okay, I think we've got a break in the wind. I'm gonna try and scoot out of here. Hopefully my counterweight works for me. Doesn't feel too bad. I feel like a dry suit is almost necessary with kayak paddle. Splashing water everywhere. Probably a horrible technique, but hey man, I'm used to a single blade, not a double blade. Okay, so I'll show you what I did. I had my bag behind the seat there, or in front of it, closer to me, and now I put it behind. It's kind of ridiculous having it sticking up like that, but it's actually countering my weight a lot better. I just had a big blast of wind and it's not turning me nearly as much as it had. Now I'm a little bit lee of this island, but it actually worked quite well for me. And I'm pretty sure I saw the portage sign to my right. So I'm almost there. Not gonna lie, I definitely was having some self-doubt midway up the lake when it was blowing really hard and I was just rotating and trying so hard to keep straight, but feeling a little bit better now. And yeah, I'm like 99% sure I see the portage sign to my 3 o'clock here. Oh, and I'm enjoying a nice wind break. Woo! There it is, if you can see around my giant green monstrosity. Very pretty in here. Now I feel like I'm settling in. The water's high. Ooh, stinky. Whew. So, very important portaging survival item. Freeze-dried Skittles. Big deadfall. Oh my god. Snapped right off. Oh shit. Tripping on them. Sticks on the ground. Whew. So I just felt like the trail was weird, and it was a hiking trail, and I had missed the sign pretty much right at the beginning that I had to go straight and the hiking trail went left. So I just brought the boat and my pack like way far away. I'm glad I checked it out when I did and didn't go any further. I need to be more careful with the signage. It's annoying, but had some more Skittles and coming back to get everything and bring it back. I'm really glad I checked. Well, that was a lot longer than it needed to be. My legs are feeling it. Lots of water. I am not paddling without having this first. It's close to dinner time. I'm gonna get hangry. I had a look at the map. Looks like I have about 3 more kilometers of paddling. So I should be at camp for, I don't know, maybe 4-6 if the wind isn't too insane. It doesn't seem to be here. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow. Like a pretty decent site, nice level spot for the tent pad. Dug my canoe all the way up and tied it up. The fire pits here, and you actually have picnic tables. And then over there, if you can see, that is the bear cache. They actually have them here, which is kind of nice. And I don't know where the toilet is yet. I'll find that before it gets dark. Gotta bring my other bag up. And it's time to start on camp chores.
Daylight quickly faded as I set up camp and met my neighbor for the night. He was incredibly personable, and any fears that I had about a man knowing I was alone were quickly dispelled. After a chat, I ate dinner, admired the view, and went to bed feeling satisfied, having already faced 2 of my fears.
Well, I'm in bed now. Super tired. Had a really good day though. I was worried about the campsites being so close together, but met my neighbor and he was super nice. And we chatted probably for about an hour, and so that made me feel a lot more comfortable. Oh my god. And more worried about people than animals, I think. But not for tonight. I'm good. Hear it sizzling. It's perfect. You just make these ahead of time at home and freeze them. And then you have breakfast pretty much ready to go. And no dishes. Yep. The best breakfast. Beautiful clear morning. Just heading out from the campsite. Probably a little after 10. I didn't actually check. To the first portage of the day, and it's an 8 something, a couple of hills, but hopefully because of everything I did yesterday it won't feel so bad. Okay, hopefully you can see this okay. So this morning we started at the 13 grouping on Clear Lake, and we just went around that little point. And we're about to do this 898 portage into Devil's Lake. And then we're going to paddle all around here, past some cliffs, down here to the Kingsford Dam portage. And that is 761. And then we'll be in Kingsford Lake. And then we'll go all the way around this peninsula. You can't see the other side there. And then up into McNally Bay, and we're 11D. So that'll be today's paddle. Apparently it's only about 12 kilometers or so total. So we'll take our time and enjoy it, and hopefully have a nice campsite. This is why I can't have a carbon boat. That would break it. Oh, my legs are sore from yesterday. Oh. And another hill. Good morning, legs. Oh. Hopefully I'm not sinking in here. This is very steep. We're not done yet, girl. Devil's Lake. Moment when you're praying that the water is not all over the trail, like this, and the rocks don't move when you step on them. Okay. Whew. Don't slip on the last step. Holy smokes. I'm tired. I intended on taking a break in that, but I just got on a roll, so I just kept going. This is absolutely beautiful. Well, I earned my snack break. somebody say we pack our fears? What do you think I'm afraid of? This is my lunch for today. Everybody's favorite protein powder in a bag. Got chili sitting there. And I also spotted jackpot. Look at that. Gold. Get it when you see it. Nice. Yeah, it's a wee bit windy. Hopefully better than yesterday. Right down as soon as I got around that point. This is glorious. Oh, I'm enjoying this. I can just relax and paddle. Gorgeous marble cliffs. Smell when the cedar is in the sunshine. Oh, I just got a blast of that with the wind. It smells so good. Last portage of the day. Only 2 today. Got some moving water down there. Little rapids in the creek. And there is the Kingsford Dam. I'm gonna go check it out. I think I'm gonna have lunch here. This is a very relaxing place for lunch. Like totally lounge. I don't want to get up. It's like a recliner chair. I do. So the takeout for the campsites is kind of over to my left there, but I know my site is towards the right. I think I see a pathway leading from there. It makes sense. I didn't have to walk all the way around there, but I'll have to do a little bit of exploring to figure it out. Very pretty little bay. Takeout to me. Maybe a little further over here. I'm pretty sure that's my tent pad up there. I don't love a platform like that, but it is nice that it's always level. Well, should be anyway. 99% sure this is it, but let's walk up here and check it out before I commit. This is mine for tonight anyway. Pretty sight. Job number one, water and a snack. Number two, get out of this sweatsuit and dry out my clothes because it's actually pretty warm right now. It's actually quite clear. Okay, dirty water. Will be clean water soon. So I probably won't be able to capture this, but I have two massive pileated woodpeckers flying around me. I'm just sitting here doing yoga and you can hear them laughing and pecking. Just finished getting camp all set up. Get my air mattress under here blown up and my sleeping bag lofting. And don't love setting up on these tent pads because I had to use all these rocks instead of the pegs, which never work as well. But we're making it work. And I've got my dinner rehydrating over here. Kind of just soaking as I did that. I got all my clothes dry from today because they were soaked with sweat. And we've got a tarragon lentil soup for dinner, rehydrating. Doesn't look very good right now. Still needs to boil again. And I might gather some sticks and do a fire instead of wasting my fuel canisters. Got lots of water over there. Listen to the spring peepers. They're so loud. It's honestly just turning into white noise for me now. I really noticed it at first and now not so much. That was close. I've had one or two land on me, mosquitoes, and at least one bite me. If it's like this and the sun's not setting quite yet, it might be a very early night because I have no bug nets and no bug spray. And I'm not interested in being swarmed, and there's a bit of a swampy area over that way, so could get interesting. I really should have thought of this. It's been such a warm winter. Just seems crazy for the 7th of April. Found myself kind of rushing through the day today at the beginning, and I always tend to be on a mission, and I didn't need to be today, so I kind of took my time and enjoyed what I was doing rather than just rushing through it and trying to get to the next thing. And it was kind of nice. I actually sat for quite a while at lunch. I found like the most comfy rocks to sit on, and they had a bit of moss, so they were cushioned and could take in the creek. And same with this afternoon. My initial instinct when I got to camp was like rush to put everything up, and I just took it easy. There was no rain coming. It wasn't gonna get windy. I didn't have anywhere to be. I love dawdling. Like, how often do you get to do that in normal life? I think we're just really accustomed to rushing around and trying to cram as many activities in as possible. And when you do have time, it almost feels uncomfortable. At least for me, anyway. I don't think that's a good thing. Hopefully I'm hungry enough to eat all of this. It's legitimately a liter of soup. It's gonna be like thick soup. I forgot I brought my book. I'm reading Adam Schultz's History of Canada in 10 Maps, and I'm actually loving it. This looks good, but it takes a really long time. I'm just gonna eat right from the pot. Why not? Honestly, not my favorite. now have a liter of this to eat. I can do it. Kind of tastes like soap. Maybe this is what those weird cilantro people taste when they taste cilantro. That's not gonna stop me. This is evolving. Now I'm using the ladle. The spoon's too slow. Okay, this is getting serious. The mosquitoes are coming. They're like landing on me and biting me. I can't believe that. Soup update. I'm calling it. I'm so full. I almost did it though. Like, I was really close. It's a good thing I'm solo. That was a lot of lentils. I don't know why, but I always get sayings or songs or just like one word stuck in my head when I'm camping. And this time, I think this saying is from my Uncle Bill. You got your words wicked up and your talk backwards. No, your back talkwards. I don't know why that's in my head, but I can't stop putting it on repeat. There's always one thing, and that's what it is this trip. This is more oatmeal than you'll ever want to eat in one sitting. I think I've been up since 2. I was too excited for the eclipse. I'm such a dork. I also thought I was going to be really scared at night because I have a really wild imagination. But so far, not at all. Like, even to get up on my own. I thought I was going to be nervous to do that, but I got out and looked around for a while and stood and looked at the stars, and it was fine. I mean, in fairness, because the park that I'm in, all the campsites are so close together, I'm not really alone. But I mean, I don't know the other people, so that does make a difference. I wonder how it'll be tonight, because I think I'm the only one booked on that lake. So I think that'll be my first taste of being alone. It's kind of nice to get eased into it, actually, rather than just all of a sudden by yourself. The forest is really active this morning. There's woodpeckers. I'm pretty sure they're those huge pileated ones I was seeing yesterday. You can hear them there. Blue jays, robins, Canadian geese, and I think I just heard turkeys. There's stuff going on everywhere, but the spring peepers finally quieted down. I'm assuming that's because it's about 0 degrees right now, so probably too cold for them. I'm sure they'll start up sooner rather than later. It's supposed to go up to 15 today. I just did my dishes. I think I'll probably start packing up camp. I want to get to my spot nice and early so that I can find somewhere good to watch the eclipse. Okay, so it's 9:45, just leaving camp now. And we are right here at 11D in McNally Bay. We're gonna go down that little inlet in through here into Birch Lake. And then we're gonna go to this portage here. It's the only one of the day, but it is a doozy. Big hill at the beginning, big hill at the end. You know it's a big hill because there's a lookout. And it's 11:38 into Little Salmon Lake, and that's our final destination at 6A. So the double blade. This is my first backcountry trip with it, and I bought it right before and just practiced a little bit beforehand just to make sure I wasn't gonna strand myself. This is the third day of using it on this trip. I think I can safely start to form opinions about it. I was trying to keep an open mind and not really judge it too much until I had a couple days under my belt. I think I definitely prefer a single blade, for sure. But this is a utility thing for me. It's getting me around way faster. And I mean, yesterday and even the day before in the wind, I wouldn't have even been moving. I was working hard with this. So I think it's just kind of a reality that I need it if I'm doing a solo trip, at least for now. I think probably period, but at least for now. And it's not bad, it's just not my preference. But I think if it gets me out here and doing this alone, it's worth it. I believe Frontenac is called a semi-wilderness area, and that's because it's got cottages all throughout, which I don't love. I'd rather they weren't here, but in terms of being my first trip and having some people close by, probably not a bad thing. Sorry, first solo trip. I chose here because of the eclipse primarily, though. And I mean, I'm still out here, I'm still enjoying nature. There really aren't many people here. I couldn't film this without showing this as well. I want to be real. I'm not in the middle of the wilderness. good sign when you're approaching a portage and the whole thing is a ridgeline like that. Normally, you look for the dip in the trees. I don't see a dip. My first ever backcountry canoe trip was at this park, and we stayed on this lake. And it was with Mary and our friend Nancy and our friend Peyton. And it was around 0 degrees and rained the entire time, pretty much. Small breaks. And I loved it. I'm really glad they took me out. Might not be here if they hadn't. Probably wouldn't be. I needed experienced people to take me out and show me how to do things, and really grateful to be here. I don't see anything. Maybe the tree is down. Oh, there it is. Just peeking out from behind the branches. Okay, that's a hill. I knew what I was getting into when I signed up for this. In an effort to reduce sweat, I am trying a different approach. I'm gonna start by taking the top half of this off so that I'm not suffocating it on this big portage. Thought I'd also address the bear spray on my day bag here. So if anybody watched our Meanest Link videos, you know what happened. We got accidentally sprayed because this little safety slid off, which happens very easily. And it was in this exact same holster. So for the rest of the trip, we kept it inside of Mary's day bag. Somebody had commented, and thank you to whoever that was, and suggested putting elastics around it. So I've put some tight elastics around it, and I haven't had it slide off at all this trip, which is super nice. I know they do it so that you can slide it off quickly with one hand, but also I don't want to mace myself, so I'm very pleased with this. Straight up. Oh. Holy. This probably doesn't show it at all, but trust me, it's steep. Good morning, legs. Holy smokes. Still going up. Whoops. Soft landing. That wasn't so bad. Time for some Skittles. Hey, bear. Ooh, that might need to be repaired. Oh, big steps up. Crazy steep this part is. This isn't even the steep part. I'm gonna watch out, the leaves are very slippery with these boots on. Well, it happened. I took a little tumble. Just slid on some leaves coming down a really steep section, and didn't hurt my butt at all, but scraped my wrist a little bit. It'll probably be a bit of a bruise. More startled than anything else, because I need to figure it out if I hurt myself on my own, and there's long portages in and out of this lake, so just be careful. I just brought my bag down to the very bottom. I think I found my spot. There's this cool little bay here. It's right behind me. It's like, oh, 2 red-tailed hawks. I have lots of visitors. I guess I'm the visitor. I'm heading back over to that second spot. It's pretty cloudy, so I feel like I don't know how much we're really gonna see, but who knows, maybe they'll clear up miraculously. Doesn't really look like they will, but we can hope. So I found a pretty good spot. I just had myself jammed between those 2 branches. It's a snapped off tree in like perfect position with the sun, that is obscured by clouds right now, unfortunately, but a nice view that way. So hopefully that works out well. If there's cloud cover, there is, but fingers crossed. about that. It's almost back to normal now. That might be one of the coolest, maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was over in what felt like an instant, though. Wow. Okay, back to camp. Back at camp. It's like nothing happened. Just another normal day. I feel really weird. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I came back to camp and I was like, okay, you're probably hungry. So I ate something, but I still feel weird. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like I saw something that I'm not supposed to see. I don't know. Or just like, how am I supposed to do normal things after seeing that? I don't know. You know what I think it is too? I really wish I could have shared that experience, not having shared it when I know Pat really wanted to see it suck. It was like somebody just turned the lights out. Very strange. I had read beforehand that some people feel unsettled after seeing a total solar eclipse. Although this was one of the most amazing events I have ever witnessed, I did experience an eerie sense of awe that I found difficult to articulate. In retrospect, the best way to describe it was almost as if I had hallucinated. The wind stopped, the temperature dropped, and everything went silent. I have never felt so small. I took several hours to begin to feel normal again. And I'm kind of at a loss. I just boiled the water for dinner, and I think there's a beaver swimming around over there. Just gonna follow this trail and see where it goes. I suspect there may be a sunset on the other side. So now that I'm fed and caffeinated, I have a bit of a story from last night. I was laying in bed reading my book, just trying to get tired and fall asleep, and I hear this huffing and heavy breathing and then low grunting, and it sounded like it was coming from like kind of right over this area from what I could tell in the tent. So that's not a nice sound to hear before bed. So it was a bit of a mental game getting to sleep last night. Yeah. But I had everything I needed in the tent. Of course, I did a little bit of yelling because I didn't want any part of what could have been a bear. It might have been. I also didn't want to jump to conclusions. I was going to do a little video segment on it last night, but I was too in my head and I was like, I don't even want to acknowledge what just happened out loud yet. So now that it's daylight and I feel fine, I thought I'd share. And then to top it all off, I was reading my Adam Schultz book, and it was the part about the Franklin expedition. Anyway, long story short, read the book for yourself if you can, but there's cannibalism involved, so that did not help me mentally. Like, this is not a good distraction right now. It's horrible. They're cannibalizing each other. Anyway, so that was my night. I did get to sleep, but it was a little bit difficult for a while. Also, I don't know what it was, maybe pine needles, old pine needles, things falling on the tent. I'm looking up around my tent site. I'm trying to figure out what the heck it was, because it was loud sometimes. I don't know. I wasn't just concerned about that. It was more annoying because I was already jumpy. Of course, I always carry bear spray as well, which I know some people will scoff at in black bear country, but you know what? I'm alone and it has happened before, so I'd rather have it with me than not. Woke up to the sound of grouse drumming. I love that sound. I think it's so cool. You can almost feel it in your chest. And turkeys. A lot of turkeys on this lake. And the woodpeckers, if you can hear that. A couple of barred owls. They were going all night. Right on cue. I hope you can hear that. And some blue jays. It's just really nice. I love waking up to all those sounds. Oh, there are the blue jays. It's like they're singing on cue for me. Where's the grouse? Come on. No. So I just walked up the ridge there to do my dishes, and on my way back I decided to have a look around the tent to see if I could see what was falling on it, and there were a bunch of pine cones. So mystery solved on that one. I'll never know exactly what it was around the tent doing all that grunting, but I'm fairly certain it was a bear because I don't think there are moose in this park. Deer wouldn't make that noise. You want to see the most satisfying thing ever? Okay, so this bowl is GSI, this pot is MSR. It's like almost like it was made for it. I love that. I don't know if anybody else is a packing nerd, but like that is extremely satisfying to me. So last night when I was trying to talk myself down, I was going through everything in my head, making sure I had everything stored properly and I had everything scented in these bear vaults, but then also inside of the bear locker that they have up there. Nothing scented in the tent, not any cosmetics or anything like that. So followed all this bear safe practices, did my dishes up and away from camp and everything. So super important. Get off my soapbox. And I meant to get a trail cam before this trip. We've been talking about getting one for months. Mary's got us onto it because of using hers on the link and all the moose activity that we caught at night. It's really cool to see in the morning. If I do that though, I'm gonna have a strict rule that I don't view it until I get home, because if I do catch something like a bear sniffing around my tent, that's gonna just freak me right out for the rest of the trip. Really exciting news. I just called the park office. Yes, I have service here. That's how backcountry I am. And they said they would unlock the gate for me so I don't have to finish with a 3-kilometer portage. I'm so excited. So I'm just gonna go. That's super nice of them because it was completely my fault for booking it the way I did. It definitely said on the reservation that road was closed. I just didn't know it meant that it was a 3-kilometer portage. Anyway, I'm gonna have a look at the map and see which way I want to go out of this lake. I could either do one portage over there that's, I think, maybe about 1 kilometer, or there's another portage right over there. I think it's like 800 or 900 meters into Little Clear Lake, and then another one shortly after that might be like 700 meters, and then you go into Big Salmon and follow it down. If I do the portage over there, I have like no paddling on Big Salmon. If I do the portage over there, I have a nice long paddle down Big Salmon to finish off the trip. So I'm thinking, now that I know I don't have to do the huge portage at the end, that I'm going to do the 2 portages and just kind of extend my paddling. I'm so excited. Just like that, we're back at Big Salmon.
Although many canoeists wouldn't consider this humble 35-kilometer loop an accomplishment, this experience was outside my comfort zone and it pushed me to face my fears and grow as a person. I wasn't alone against the north or beyond the trees, but this trip felt like the beginning of a new opportunity for me. As I enjoyed the paddle out, I realized I had faced and overcome every single one of the fears that I had coming into this trip, and none of them were as scary as I had imagined. As always, the lessons learned while canoe tripping translate into real life. It was time for me to face an even bigger fear. On May 27th, I had my preventative double mastectomy and reconstruction. I'm overjoyed to say that the surgery and recovery has been easier than I ever dreamed it could be. Most importantly, I wake up every day filled with peace and deep gratitude in the knowledge that my breast cancer risk has decreased from 60% to a mere 3%. For the first time since the age of 12, I have been able to let go of the fear that I would die young of cancer. I feel so free. Thank you to everyone for your kind words, to my family, friends, co-workers, and healthcare team, but most of all, to my incredible husband, Pat. Without his unwavering love, support, and care, facing this fear would have felt impossible.
You just can't stop her.